Good afternoon everyone. My name is Omkar and today I'll be presenting you a concept that would lead to increase in electrical vehicles. It's sort of an online platform. I'll just give you some It's basically an online platform that connects the electrical vehicles and the houses. So what's the problem? So there's only 1% penetration of electrical vehicles in USA, and that's very less. People are still buying the fuel cars, and these cars are very short range due to low battery capacity. I'll discuss this after some time. And there's a range anxiety among the potential buyers that due to the limited charging stations. Charging stations are very less as compared to the gas stations. Current situations. So every car has around 150 mile range on a full charge. That's very less as compared to the gas cars. Second is, as you can see on the map, the black spots are the gas stations and the green ones are the EV charging stations. So as you can see, only the major parts like New York, Boston, Massachusetts and California, Texas have the charge stations, and these states have less. So people living in these areas don't prefer to buy EV, so that's why the penetration is so less. And during winter, battery drains very quickly, so that leads to you can't even commute for like work to office back and forth. So what's the opportunity? There are around 127 million homes in US that have like parking spaces, and even if you consider the penetration of 1% of total houses, that's like 1% who is going to use our application. That's much more than the current EV charging stations. This would lead to increase in sales of EVs, electrical vehicles, and the home charging stations. And every host can earn a passive income by just providing parking space and the services. This is a great opportunity for old people and veterans who can rent the property or the parking space to earn extra income. And the last one, we just targeted 1% for now, just to give an estimate, but this would expand really well exponentially. So our solution is to provide an online platform for EV and houses for instant battery charging. So how this works is like, if you have a low charging in your vehicle, you can just tap on application. It works like Uber. You can see the nearby houses who have the charging stations. You just tap on it and request whether they are willing to provide charge or not. And if you are sitting at home, the person can just accept or deny whether he is willing to provide a charge or not. And since it's like a 2 to 3 hours session, we are going to provide like multiple features for both customers and the host. For customers, there will be real-time updates whether the charge stations are available or not. There will be in-app payment system, so they don't have to worry. Advanced booking within 24 hours to see whether if they want to do the long commute. Hospitality services, because since it's like 2 to 3 hours long session, they can provide like coffee or rest area. I can discuss this further. Last one is the messaging feature, which lacks in most of the applications. For hosts, there will be flexibility of services, like you can choose days and time when you want to give the parking space, extra income, right to accept or deny. Additional features like hospitality, they can provide, like this is similar to the Airbnbs. And the last one is CCTV monitoring. If they want to, if they are feeling insecure, they can provide CCTV monitoring system. So how we will earn from this? So we will charge 3% commission on every transaction, and 6 to 12% on extra features like hospitality services, CCTV monitoring, and extra security on request. And we are thinking to do partnership with EV brands like EV manufacturers like Tesla, Mitsubishi, and so on. EV charging stations just to increase their businesses, and they can just provide their links to our application. This way, the business will increase. And last one is the EV roadside assistance providers. So we are a really great team. We have like diverse background, and we are really want to take this forward. So these are the breakdown funds that we require, and this is the timeline. So I'm thinking to launch our app after 3 months if we get the following funds. So we already received $1,000 from MassCC on which, meaning Make Harvard at Harvard University. We are expected $5,000. We are expecting $5,000 by Mars Challenge accelerated program at 3 different destinations, and we require like 14,000 more. And yeah, to increase our business, we are taking the partnership with home EV charging stations, EV roadside assistance providers, and manufacturers. So currently, EV roadside assistance providers are not in business. So they have like fleet of cars and vehicles, but people don't request charge because they don't even know that these assistance providers are still available. So we'll put their features on our application so that even they can win business. So yeah, thank you so much. If you have any questions, thank you.
Very good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I do want to say I really like your presentation setup. I like how you started with a smaller thing and then you didn't let that leave. You left it on and then you brought up the next item. And you brought up the next. Because a lot of times you'll put something on and you don't have enough time to really absorb it. And then it goes away onto the next screen and you didn't quite do that by adding it to the screen each time. I thought that was like really effective. Did you all agree with that? So a couple of things. I have some questions and some comments. Is that okay if I go? Okay. So first off, this actually happened before in other difference maker things. Just some suggestions, okay? So one suggestion is be very careful about calling retired old people.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I have a lot of friends who are retired and they don't perceive themselves as old. Other people might, they don't. So you're dealing with a lot of people of that age who may be, especially if you're going to funding sources, you may be going to people who are of retirement age, but they just happen to not be retired, so they don't perceive themselves as old. So I would finesse that a little bit. And then the other thing is, in reading and this doesn't really have anything to do with the scoring or anything, but right off the bat you defined what EV is as an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
But for those of us who are familiar with that term, because it's a shorthand really and it's probably not as prominent, you don't define it until like fairly down.
Oh, yeah.
So you start out with EV, and then it's down here. So that should be like right off the bat. So first, EV, electric vehicles, parentheses, EV. Okay, so those are just my comments. So my questions are, on your last screen, I think you talked about partnering with the home charger brand. Is there such a thing? Is there already a home charger brand? Or
there are already many home charging brands, yeah.
Oh, okay, so there are people, so are they already connected through a system?
Yeah, they do have their own application, which they can provide the access with all the different EV charging stations, yeah.
Okay, so people who have the home charger are already connected to a system of other people with home chargers?
They don't even have this idea.
Oh, they don't have it. So there isn't a brand already. Oh, okay, that's what I meant. So you said a brand, but one doesn't exist. So you're going to have to create a brand that connects the home charger.
Yeah, all the EV chargers. So it's basically, it will work as a, so we'll provide a QR code, and once you go to any charging home with the charging station, you just scan the code, and that's how the transaction will go.
Okay, so you'd have to connect. So it wouldn't be just for people with electric vehicles. It's also for people who have the home charging stations, because they're not the same subset of people. Okay, and then. So would you have to work out like what a fee would be, because you talked it would be a fee, so somebody so is that something you would have to work out, or would it be a set fee for everybody, or does each home charger family set their own rate based on what their electric charges
so there will be like three different kind of charges. The first one is the base charge, the electricity rate on which in different states have different electricity rate, like $1.5 per kilowatt, 11 cents per kilowatt, and so on.
Okay.
So that's like base fee. And second would be the homeowner's fee. That would be around $2 to $3. That's like nominal fee because you're providing the parking space for 2 hours.
Right.
And third would be the hospitality fees. So if you want to provide a bed space or food or drinks or whatever kind of
while it's charging
amenities, and you can charge on based whatever, like $10, $15, $20 based on what services are you going to provide.
So is there a way? So on these home charging stations, I'm sort of familiar with what they look like just from. I don't have a car, electric vehicle, so I have never used one. But does it actually register the wattage you're using and the amount?
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
You have the display and everything. Everything happens over there.
Okay, so it's similar to
the home charging stations do that?
Yeah, home charging stations. Even they have there are multiple, but the expensive ones has the digital board.
So this is like a DC charging as opposed to an AC charging?
It's connected to the AC, so that there are like 3 different levels: level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 are no more because they takes around 6 hours to do the charging. Level 2 are into the market and they're cheaper. And level 3 are the direct DC charging, and it requires a transformer to get connected.
So which of these are you thinking these home stations are going to have? The
Level 2.
level 2, the 220 volt chargers,
Yeah, exactly.
Does
not the
every,
DC. Go ahead.
does every car have the same universal adapter?
No,
Because
the adapters are different.
Right.
So once you get the home chargers, you have to deal with the you have to mention that cables in the application itself. Like I have this cable available, then only you can do the charging. So if you want to buy extra charging cables, you can do that as well. So we have that feature.
So, so if I have a Tesla charging station in my garage, how do I put a different cable on?
So you can actually I didn't.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't. So I can only charge a Tesla in my house. I can't charge any other cars.
Yeah, but there are like other different brands that charge different cars.
True.
Not Tesla though. Yeah,
True.
that's true.
Right.
Tesla has a unique connector? I didn't know that.
I don't think they have the
It's not a unique connection, but as it comes out of the box, the cable comes out and the connector, it's not like you can plug on another AC cord, like you put on an extension cord. You can't change the mate of it.
Yeah, so my car has two different connectors, one for the 110 and one for the 220 or the DC. And the Teslas do not have the same connector? I thought everything was universal.
No, it's just one connector on it.
There's a connector that connects to the car.
Okay.
That's different.
But you can't take that connector and, plug another connector on it and get two other cables, do a Y or,
Yeah.
so it goes on a
So
volt.
you have
or-
two different connectors so that you can stop at a variety, like different charging
Yeah, there's
stations that are limited.
one's for the home 110 and the
Yeah.
other one's for the 220 and the DC.
So as part of your plan, have you devised a way when people register and they get these apps and you do the connections to specify what type of connections they have? So-
Yeah, exactly. So I can show you in the appendix if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's there.
Okay.
Because there
So
are.
this is our sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is our plan. How we are going to
Oh,
do
I
this.
see, okay.
Yeah. So in the description you can see the price, hospitality things. So and even in the notes you can see charger details. You have the sorry, it's not clear, but it says what kind of charging cable is there, how old is the charging station, and what brand it is, and what's the make and brand of it. And these are the special notes once you come to this. So everything will be there in the application. So we already developed a prototype of it using a free app development software.
Could I don't own an electric car, but could I set up my own station and that's my
Yeah,
business?
that's the whole plan. Because even if you have the charging electric car as well as the charging station, there are around 750,000 people in US. Even if we get those many people, we will be like really into business. And even if you don't have an electric vehicle, you can still set up a charger and do the business. You can
Have you researched if there are any licensing fees? Like you said, if you were starting a business,
so
are there any,
next
okay, sorry.
Zoning regulations.
Zoning like the town, they don't like Airbnbs in some towns, so they're not gonna, your neighbors aren't gonna be happy that you're providing hospitality services. Someone's coming up and selling,
thought about it.
I think there'd have to be a disclaimer saying,
The right answer is we're working on it.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
gonna have to say-
Yeah.
so I think there'd have to be a disclaimer that just says, when people are signing up, saying that you're responsible for determining whether or not your city, town, or state has any regulations in which you have to register. Because I think some of them are now
Right.
doing that for Airbnbs and that
Right.
sort of
Yeah.
thing.
So you're a great person, you go and you wanna make some extra money, you're a retired person, not an old person.
Retired
And you
covers
go
it
get
all.
a charging station and you put it outside your house and people now know that where they can come to get it, right? But there's no on and off switch for that charging station. So if I go there today and I charge my car and I drive away tomorrow and I go, hey, I was at that person's house, I'm gonna go back there tomorrow and charge my car again.
Is there a locking system on those? There is not.
No, there's no, I mean, you can't just like turn it off.
So are
Access
you
code
talking
to
about the
start
closed garage or the?
Yeah.
Just if you don't want somebody in front of your house at all times, can you just say, not available right now.
Right, yes, I mean, you'd have to lock it up, you couldn't put it, you couldn't put it outside your garage, and people pull up and just, pop off.
So that's the whole point of the application. You have to request and you can either accept or deny. So these are the messages. You have been rejected, you have been accepted. So if he's going to some place after an hour, so you can just reject that person and he won't come to the parking space.
Have you already disclosed the address before they accept or reject?
I've not thought about this, but probably yes.
Yeah, so you're already putting your
yeah,
address
because
out there,
it's
so.
over anyway.
Yeah, so you might have to set it up so that it's more vague. So so before the host gives their address where their charging station is, the other person would have to accept it.
If you go once though, you know where it is.
You're
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so-
yeah.
Are these just are these special metered charging stations, or this is just the charging stations that everybody already has?
This is just charge that everyone already has. Not
How are you metering this?
So we are thinking to do this kind like metering system after we reach a particular amount of downloads. But we are just targeting the 70,000 people who already have this EV charging.
No, but how do you meter it? It's a big difference in the cost to the homeowner if somebody's there for a half an hour versus if they're there for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, so based on the QR code, once you scan the QR code, you automatically get into another portal. That way you can track your charging, how much charging is done, how long are you going to stay and so on.
I think that the owner sets the price,
Yeah.
right? If they want to set it as $10, it's not, I don't think metering is that important. You
Yeah, I
don't
don't-
need to know exactly how many kilowatt hours or what the rate is and,
Right.
or the absolute amount, kilowatts.
Because, so it's one charge, one flat rate
No,
no.
per hour.
per hour. How do you know they're there for 1 hour, 2 hours,
Am I
3 hours?
buying time on the charging station?
Yeah.
No, so
I want-
once you come, you request a particular amount of time you want to stay. For example, if you want to stay for 1 hour, 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you're done, you're done.
I asked
Even
a
if
question.
like 87%.
A period of time. I want to rent your station
For a
for
period of
a
time.
period of time,
Separate.
because that's all I need to get to.
But
Yeah.
but how does the station know that you already paid for 2 hours?
So once you accept, the homeowner will say you have to stay, like this is, in the notes you can just go, you have to come and go within 2 hours. So there's no regulation, yeah.
That's
there's no
not good.
regulation.
Yeah.
So you'd have to be
You'll think
home,
about
you'd
it.
have to be home.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, because you are just providing the parking space, so you don't have the.
Right, but
access
there'd be
to-
no way to monitor how long they're gonna stay.
So that's what the extra feature is, the CCTV monitoring. So we are thinking to do that.
But then
as
you
well.
have, I think what they're saying is there has to be a way to turn off the charger.
Right.
So if you say, I don't need, you only get 2 hours,
Mhm.
I want to be able to say, your 2 hours is up.
Yeah,
the
so
charger is
automatically
up.
once you scan the QR code, the system will automatically work and will stop after 2 hours.
It will stop the
Yeah.
charger.
So it won't
Sort of like paying for gas in its.
work. Yeah.
So
Right,
this is
right.
not just a standard home system then, because mine, there's no way to turn mine off unless you unplug it.
So that's how through the web portal we are going to do this.
So
So,
let me, okay.
I mean, maybe the best way to think about this now, right, is how do you make a charger, a universal charger that you could buy at Home Depot, right, that you can turn on and off with your app, that's, Joe homeowner could bring it home, plug it in, and they know it's gonna get turned on off with the app, versus what you have at your house where you have no idea that the person's gonna leave after 2 hours.
Actually, I need to talk to my teammates. I think that's a brilliant
Well,
idea.
Yeah, you
Yeah, so
have to
that's-
do that. It doesn't have to be a whole charger. All it has to be is just a box with a timer that can talk to Wi-Fi. That's all it has to be.
So that would be
I
the
think-
next level of development on the thing. Oh, the other thing is, initially, until, if that to go out to develop, would this still be useful to direct people to public charging stations?
Yeah, we are thinking to do with the commercial buildings, commercial properties, parking spaces, all the movie theaters and so on. Because even if if you go to the movie theater, you spend around 3 hours to watch the movie, and during that time you can charge your car. So that's like win-win situation for both the parties.
I have a question for you or the people that have electric vehicles. When you go to a public charging station, how do you pay for that?
You have an app.
Oh, there's a net, okay.
Most of them are a network, right? Like one business charge point. They own lots of them, and you just, I have a card or an app, and you just
Right. Just
Oh,
tap
yes.
it in, and you're.
They debit your
Okay.
account.
Yeah, so we
But
do,
home charging stations don't have a system like
Here's your,
that.
here's your competition.
yeah, so I'll just show you.
Oh, yeah.
So currently, there are companies that are providing EV assistance. So if you require charge, you just have to provide, and so they are going out of business because nobody know about this. Second are like the EV charging stations that provide the application, and you can just search the nearby EV plug share EV charging stations, public one, not the private one, and you can get the charging done. Third one are the home EV charging stations. These are the charging you put in your home. These are the private ones, and we just want to increase their sales. And the fourth one is the peer-to-peer business model like Uber, Lyft, Letgo, and Airbnb, who just provide their own property or a vehicle to do business. So we just want to integrate all of this and make a centralized application.
So there are already applications that direct people to public charging stations?
Yeah,
That
only the
already
public,
exist,
yeah.
okay.
And not and everyone has their own system. So EVgo will only connect to the EVgo charging,
Oh, okay.
not the plug share or
So not
charge point.
universal?
Not universal.
Okay, so yours, the difference in yours and those would be, yours would be universal and you're now incorporating home stations?
Yeah, that's right. So that's how the whole picture comes in.
But with your model, I could plot out my trip from here to Buffalo, as an
Yeah.
example. I know where I need to be for each recharging step.
Yeah.
If I miss my time, I get held up in traffic.
I never thought about it, but if you stuck there, you can request the multiple people to do the like request the people multiple customers to charge like to us, and you can reject them on spot if you can't make it.
How long, you might know, Mark, or should you? What's the typical length of the charging cord, on the electrical cord in a home station?
Mine is like 15 feet, 18 feet, something like that.
Because most of these are installed in garages, I would think,
Yeah.
in my
Push
garage.
it.
In the corner of your garage, yeah.
So you got a
So
good
do you
rule,
have
because
access
the
as
majority of the people in the room have electric vehicles,
Yes.
so that's what I was gonna say.
I know.
That's great.
But my point is, I might have to keep my garage open with
Yeah,
other stuff
so-
in it. Well,
Right.
strangers are coming to
At
do
all hours.
something, so you need an attendant.
Yeah, even like if you want to accept or deny, you have to like keep open. If you don't want to allow anyone to do the charging, you can just switch off the application or just switch the days off, like Monday, Tuesday to all the weekends.
Okay, so just making your
It's very
system
flexible.
available. You
Yeah.
define,
Yeah.
like an Uber, I'm on or I'm off, I'm
Yeah.
on duty or off.
Yeah, even in the winter season, you can get a lot of customers.
The only concern would be letting your address out before the person is actually accepted, because now you're letting everybody know where there's a charging station.
No, but for that you need to. That's what the system. It works like a Airbnb. If you don't allow the person to
After
come
you've
in-
done it
Oh,
once,
you do it
though,
afterwards,
after
okay.
you've done it once, you know, they know
Right.
where you are.
Right.
So two things. What are the economics here? Because
That's right.
I mean, you use 5 or 7 cents per kilowatt hour. I mean, that's what I pay per kilowatt hour, you know, for the actual kilowatt. But after the transportation charges and taxes, blah blah blah, I pay 25 cents a kilowatt hour.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
But a commercial charging station, I don't think has to do that, right?
yeah, so base charge would be whatever you just said, and additionally there will be obviously hospital charges, and then like $1.52 for every homeowner.
I'm talking about the economics, your system versus a commercial charging system. I don't think they have. I don't think they're paying the same kind of charges that I am as a homeowner. So I'm thinking it would not only be a lot quicker at a commercial station, but it would also be a lot cheaper.
Okay, so we didn't.
I don't know that, but I'm thinking that.
We are not looking into the cost perspective, because we just want to connect the like if the two charges are very far away, two commercial charging stations. So there is nothing in between. What will you do if you are like a lot of money, but you're
Okay,
far distance?
alright.
That's the main thing.
So that commercial, it's not. It's convenience, not cost. Is what you're
Cost is
saying.
not a factor. Convenience is a factor.
What about the fact that, I mean, they're rolling out, these DC charging stations that'll charge a car in 35 or 40 minutes all over the place? I mean, what does that do to the long-term viability of your model?
So currently that's very expensive. It costs around $12,000 to $18,000 one module, and that's why they are
How much?
12,000 to
12,000
per module. It's very
per
expensive.
module?
Even if it does charge very fast, but still people not going with it. Will so eventually it will be into the market, but currently it's not. So level 2 is the only way to get forward. That's why we want to increase the electric vehicles.
All right, I'll say one more question and then we'll let him go.
Okay.
Any more?
I've got one.
All right.
Again, I'm not from Buffalo, but I'm interested, so I'm stopping in Buffalo in January. I need a half an hour or an hour to charge my car, and I can't, what do I do while it's charging, when I'm in your driveway? As a driver, I mean, it's cold, pretty cold. What do I?
Yeah, so if you want to commute from here to the Buffalo, you need to like see how many charge stations.
I'm sorry, during the actual process, I need a half an hour charge. I mean, wrong.
You won't go very far in a half an hour charge.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
so I need an hour.
You need an hour.
It's freezing
Sitting in your
cold
driveway.
when I'm in your driveway.
So
What do I do? I can't stay warm while I'm,
so you are in my driveway, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
so
pretty cold.
Yeah, so you just request a half an hour charge, and I'll just provide you the hospitality service, like a bed space for half an hour, and probably a warm coffee or tea,
Okay.
whatever preferences, and you can just have to go.
Very cool.
There's a lot of trust going on.
Yeah.
Even if you are stuck
Yeah.
in the night.
Yeah,
But think about it, Airbnb.
Right, that's true, right, yeah.
Yeah.
But usually you're not home during
Ubers
Airbnb, right, yeah.
It's basically Airbnb for parking space
Yeah.
and Uber for eating.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.